They sent her as a joke, an insult wrapped in fancy cloth, sent across space with a mean smile that the whole empire could feel. The daughter nobody wanted, given to a poor human colony like she was old, unwanted stuff. But in the dark workshop under Titan's orange skies, where oily hands built amazing things from junk, one man saw what empires couldn't see, that sometimes the universe sends exactly what you need. Hidden is everything you never asked for. Before we start, subscribe now so you don't miss more amazing stories like this one. Oh, and before we start, tell us in the comments, where are you watching this video from? We love hearing from you and always read every message. The spaceship came down through Titan's clouds like a falling star wrapped in meanness. Marcus Chen wiped grease from his hands and watched from the repair shop as the beautiful dragon-like ship landed on landing pad 7 with perfect grace. He'd been waiting for parts, important pieces for the air machines that kept New Cascade's 30,000 colonists breathing. Instead, the list said diplomatic transfer, imperial custody. Governor Castellanos arrived in his usual cloud of worry, his face pale. Chen, the Draconians have sent us a person. A princess, actually. Marcus put down his tool. We asked for filters. Yes, well, Emperor Vorak has decided to honor our treaty request with what he calls a gesture of deep cultural exchange. The workshop doors opened and she entered. Marcus felt the air change. She was Draconian, green skin like jade, smooth ridges along her jaw, dark hair moving like water. But where the few Draconian diplomats he'd seen were tall and very thin, she was bigger, with curves. Her body showed weight and realness in a culture that clearly loved being skinny. In her golden eyes, Marcus saw something he understood, the tiredness of being unwanted. This is Princess Kalyra, 7th daughter of Emperor Vorak, Castellanos announced. She'll be staying with us forever. Chen, you'll watch over her adjustment. After the governor ran away, Marcus walked up to her carefully. I'm Marcus. I fix life support here. I'm sorry about all this. She studied him with those gold eyes, her voice carrying sounds that turned simple words into music. You have nothing to say sorry for, mechanic. The shame is mine to carry. I understand I am not what was expected. In my culture, being too big is weakness. She continued quietly. I am the opposite of good. Sounds like a culture that needs better ideas of what's good, Marcus said before he could stop himself. Her eyes got wide. Then something surprising happened. She almost smiled. He showed her to changed storage rooms, one narrow bed, basic bathroom, a window looking over the factory area where refineries glowed against Titan's dark orange sky. On Draconia Prime, the Imperial Palace has 7,000 rooms, she said at the window. I was given one in the lowest level where servants live. This is bigger. Something in Marcus's chest tightened. While you're here, you're under my protection. Anyone has a problem with you, they answer to me. Those golden eyes searched his face for the joke, the meanness. Why would you do that? You don't know me. I fix things. It's what I do, and I'm good at seeing what's broken versus what's just been treated badly. That night, Marcus saw the Emperor's answer to Kalyra's message home. Your being there is the point, daughter. Suffer well. Standing in the quiet workshop, Marcus felt anger start. Something slow, hot, dangerous. 2 days later, the colony cafeteria fell silent when Kalyra entered the meal line. Diego Rohr, a cargo worker built for scaring people, had been making comments about the fat alien since her arrival. Today, he made them directly. Princess Piggy actually showed up, Rohr announced to his table. What's wrong, sweetheart? They not feeding you enough on the mothership? I heard her daddy sent her here as a joke. Here, humans have our trash. Rohr, shut up, Marcus said, crossing the cafeteria. What's the matter, Chen? You sweet on the whale. Before things got worse, Kalyra's voice rang out, clear, musical, unbothered. Your concern is touching, Mr. Rohr. But I'm quite able to pick my own food. She moved to an empty table with surprising grace, and began eating with formal dignity that made everyone else look like animals. Marcus joined her without asking. You don't have to pretend sympathy, she said quietly. I'm used to eating alone. Marcus. My name's Marcus, and I'm not pretending anything. They ate in silence until Marcus spoke. Colony food is terrible, isn't it? On Draconia, meals are considered weakness, Kalira said. The royal family eats once daily, small amounts. Food is fuel, nothing more. When I was young, I used to sneak into servant rooms to share their real food, with spices and joy. Everyone knew, but I was the embarrassment nobody wanted, so they allowed it. Another way I was not perfect. Your father really sent you here as an insult. My father has 12 daughters and 7 sons. The oldest hold military commands. The middle children manage trade areas. I passed all my tests at the Imperial Academy with top scores. She met his eyes. None of it mattered. I was fat, so worthless. He sent a message to your people. This is what we think you're worth. I'm the insult, not the person receiving it. Roar's voice rose again. Hey, princess, when your ship took off, did they have to fix the gravity? The cafeteria burst into laughter. Kalira stood and walked out with careful dignity, laughter washing over her like poison rain. Marcus's fist hit Roar in the stomach. As the cargo worker gasped, Marcus leaned close. I keep people breathing for a living, Roar, which means I know exactly how to stop them. Marcus found Kalira 3 hours later in his workshop. She had taken apart his main diagnostic scanner and was examining each piece with careful skill. That's 40,000 credits of equipment, he said carefully. Your secondary quantum relay is breaking down, she said without looking up. 3% difference in diagnostic returns. It can be fixed, or you can continue using broken diagnostics until you kill everyone in sections 4 through 9 when oxygen scrubbers fail. Marcus stood there rethinking everything he thought he knew. You're an engineer? I was trained in 17 technical subjects before my father decided I was too embarrassing to invest in. Draconian royal children master multiple fields by age 12. I passed all tests with top scores. Her voice remained flat. None of it mattered. I was fat, so my achievements were meaningless. Marcus sat beside her. Show me what you're seeing. They worked for an hour. Kalira's understanding went far beyond his training. She explained complex quantum mechanics like discussing weather. The Imperial Academy, top of my class for 3 years, she said. They created a special award to avoid giving me traditional honors, recognition despite physical limitations. My sister, who placed 20th, received the Medal of Excellence. I received applause and a suggestion to do office work. Your father's an idiot, Marcus said. Any leader who wastes talent because of looks is running on superstition, Kalira laughed, a real laugh that filled the workshop like music. You're very strange, Marcus Chen. By the time they finished, they'd not only repaired the scanner, but improved its sensitivity by 12%. Thank you, she said softly, for treating me like I might actually be useful. You are useful. You're brilliant. That night, Kalira felt something she'd almost forgotten. Hope. 3 weeks later, everything changed. Governor Castellanos burst into the workshop where Marcus and Kalira were working. I need you both now. In his office, Ambassador Jakaris waited, tall, sharp, elegant, looking at them with hate. Your colony has had a 37% increase in air system failures, he announced. Such bad work reflects poorly on our treaty. Your life support is failing and you want increased trade access. Perhaps the Empire should reconsider this settlement's future. His eyes found Kalira. Tell me, Princess, are these primitives treating you well? They've been adequate, Ambassador. Your father will be pleased you've adjusted to adequate. Jakaras smiled sharply. I have a proposal, a test of your colony's technical skill. I've prepared a systems challenge, a diagnostic scenario any skilled draconian engineer could solve in an afternoon. Complete it successfully, and I'll recommend continued treaty support. Fail, and this colony ends. He showed a mean diagram, dozens of connected system failures falling like dominoes, a pretend atmospheric processor failure, multiple problems at the same time. Find the root cause and provide a fix before total collapse. You have 6 hours. Marcus studied the purposely confusing design, his stomach sinking. "Ambassador, our entire staff couldn't—" "Then you're not good enough," Jakara said. He turned to Kalyra. "Do try not to embarrass yourself further, Princess. I'd hate to report that even these humans found you useless." After he left, Dr. Tanaka, head of environmental systems, pulled up her workstation. "This is impossible. Even with our full team, it's doable," Kalyra said quietly. Everyone stared. "It's difficult, purposely so, but solvable." She looked at Marcus with fierce determination. "I'll need your full diagnostic suite, modeling software, and about 4 liters of coffee. I'm going to save your colony and show Ambassador Jakaras that some of us understand the difference between excellence and elegance. Do I have access to your systems?" Marcus thought about 30,000 people whose next breath depended on this. "Everything you need. I'll help." "Good." She was already moving. "He gave us 6 hours. We're doing it in 4. Why 4? Kalyra smiled, fierce, sharp, certain. "Because I'm going to make him wait." They worked through Titan's deep night. Dr. Tanaka gathered her team. But within an hour it became clear Kalyra worked on a completely different level. "The failure starts here," she said, highlighting a connection point, "not at oxygen generation. Jakaras wanted you chasing obvious symptoms while the real problem bleeds pressure in the coolant system. But diagnostics show." An engineer began. "The diagnostics lie. The sensor arrays are messed up by electromagnetic interference. This difference pattern matches the quantum core sound patterns. The sensors interpret noise as pressure loss." Marcus watched her work like a master painter, every movement building toward a picture none of them could see. Around hour 2, he asked quietly, "Why are you doing this?" "If the colony fails, you could go home." Her hands stopped. "You think I want to return where I'm worth less than garbage? If this fails, there is no home. I drift forever." She paused. "I'm doing this because for the first time in my life, someone treated me like I might be useful. You sat with me at lunch. You defended me. You listened. No one, not my teachers, siblings, or father, has ever listened to me the way you did. You're brilliant." "Why wouldn't I listen?" "Because I'm also fat. And everywhere I've been, that single fact erases everything else." By hour 4, they had it, a complete solution tested through 1,000 simulations, showing stable air processing and improved efficiency. "Exceeding imperial standards, we're done," Kalyra announced. 1 hour early. The workshop burst into cheers. 20 minutes later, Jakaras arrived expecting disaster. "I trust you've recognized the impossibility," he said. "Actually," Dr. Tanaka stepped forward, "we've completed a full diagnostic and solution protocol." She presented their work, the electromagnetic interference identification, the thermal buffer solution. Through it all, Jakaras remained unreadable. "Interesting," he said finally. "Your solution is remarkably similar to draconian quantum lattice technology." His eyes found Kalyra. "Tell me, Princess, did you contribute?" Kalyra stepped forward. "I consulted on thermal dynamics. The humans identified the core problem and designed the solution. I merely confirmed their approach was sound. Any skilled physicist could have provided the same consultation. It was technically true and completely misleading, so you were barely helpful." "How perfectly in character, Princess," Jakaras said with cruel satisfaction. He knew exactly what she'd done and was letting her hide behind self-put-downs because it fit his story. "Your solution is adequate. I'll recommend continued support." He paused at the door. "Though I'm disappointed you remained content with adequacy, Princess." After he left, the team celebrated. But Marcus found Kalyra at her window an hour later, watching methane rainfall. "You let him think you were useless." "Why?" "Because if I'd claimed credit, he'd have rejected the solution. Draconian protocols are complex. If I showed skill, he could have argued I provided Imperial technology without permission. Your colony would have been punished, possibly dissolved. So you protected us by looking weak. I protected you by being what everyone expects, the useless princess. It's what I'm good at, disappearing while remaining visible." He crossed to her. No, what you're good at is solving impossible problems, seeing patterns no one else can see, being brilliant while everyone's too blind to notice. He touched her shoulder gently. I see you, Kalara. I see what you did tonight, and I won't forget it. Her eyes widened, gold catching amber light. She placed her hand over his, cooler than human, warm, but solid, real. Thank you, she whispered, for seeing me. 6 weeks passed like a dream. Marcus and Kalara worked together 12 hours daily. Colony systems thrived under her quiet guidance. They shared coffee in early hours when distant sunlight painted everything amber. They talked about everything, his Earth childhood, her draconian isolation, the miracle of finding connection across species and stars. They didn't name what they were becoming to each other. That felt too precious to examine directly. Then the holographic projector turned on without warning. A female draconian appeared, elegant beyond measure, wearing imperial purple. Princess Kalara, the figure said, voice like crystal. I am Counselor Xerath, second voice of the Imperial Science Directorate. I've watched your work with great interest. Counselor, Kalara said carefully, my work here has been minimal consultation only. Do not insult my intelligence with false modesty. Xerath smiled sharply. Ambassador Jakaras's challenge was sent to Imperial Archives, including full workshop recordings. I've seen what you truly accomplished. Marcus felt ice settle in his stomach. The thermal buffer solution represents a 15% improvement over our Imperial standard, Xerath continued. Your cascade diagnostic method is revolutionary. You solved in 4 hours what our best engineers said would take weeks. You are exactly the mind the science Directorate seeks, a mind wasted in exile. I have no interest in returning to Draconia. I'm offering you a position, Chief Systems Architect, for the Science Directorate. Unlimited resources, a staff of 300 engineers, full authority over infrastructure development. Xerath's expression softened. You would finally be valued for what you are, for what you can do, rather than punished for how you look. The offer hung like gravity. And if I refuse, then you remain here, hiding your brilliance, pretending to be adequate while saving human colonies in shadows. How long can you keep making yourself small? Marcus stepped forward. She's not making herself small. She's choosing to be here. Xerath's gaze shifted to him, carrying imperial weight. The mechanic. Marcus Chen, tell me, human, do you love her? The question hit like a blow. Beside him, Kalara went completely still. Because if you do, if you truly care for her well-being, you'd encourage her to accept. Here, she'll always be the joke princess hiding in a workshop. With us, she could be revolutionary, recognized, celebrated. Give me time to consider, Kalara said. 48 hours. After that, the offer ends. And Princess, your father has been informed of your abilities. He's displeased you hid them, but he won't interfere. The Empire needs minds like yours. The transmission ended, leaving them in mechanical silence. Marcus, Kalara said softly. She asked if you loved me. You didn't answer. His heart hammered. They'd been dancing around this for weeks. I didn't answer because I thought it was obvious. She looked at him, golden eyes wide. Of course I love you. The words spilled out. You're brilliant and funny, and you see the universe in ways that make me feel like I've been blind. You make terrible coffee, but you reorganize my workshop perfectly. You hum when you're concentrating, and you've memorized every maintenance schedule. You stayed up 30 hours fixing water reclamation because you said no one should ration showers. He stepped closer. So yes, I love you. Probably since you took apart my diagnostic scanner and explained quantum relays like discussing weather. A tear tracked down her jade cheek. But Xerath is right. Marcus continued. And it cost everything. You should go. You deserve to be celebrated. You deserve better than change storage and a mechanic who can barely keep up with your explanations. Stop, Kalara whispered. You could change everything, Marcus. Stop. She grabbed his hand. Do you know what I was before you? Nothing. A joke. A disappointment so complete my father celebrated sending me away. I was brilliant in a vacuum, achieving things no one would acknowledge. Her voice broke. Then you sat with me at lunch, such a simple thing. But you listened, and you looked at me like I mattered. You do matter. I matter here, in this workshop with you. For the first time in my life, I matter not because of what I can do, but because of who I am. She pulled his hand to her face. Xerath offers recognition. You offer something far more valuable. You offer home. Kalira, I'm not going. I'm staying here with you because I love you too, you strange, stubborn human. And I'd rather be adequate with you than revolutionary without you. Marcus pulled her close, his arms wrapping around her solid warmth. She fit against him perfectly, and he felt her shoulders shake with silent tears. They'll call you crazy, he murmured, giving up that opportunity for a poor colony and a mediocre mechanic. You're not mediocre. You're mine. She pulled back to look at him. And I choose this. I choose you. I choose a place where I can be seen. He kissed her then, gentle, careful, tasting methane rain and coffee and something that might have been stardust. Her lips were cooler than human warm, but moved against his with certainty, with choice, with love. When they separated, both breathing hard, Kalira smiled, fierce and joyful. We should send Counselor Xerath a response. What will you tell her? That I found something more important than revolution. Kalira turned to the comm system. I found home. The response came at dawn, Saturn's light painting the industrial sector in amber and gold. Marcus and Kalira were sharing coffee, her head on his shoulder. When the Imperial seal appeared, Emperor Vorak himself appeared, tall, severe, elegant to the point of not looking human. Kalira, he said, his voice making the workshop equipment hum. Father. I've received Counselor Xerath's report of your refusal. I've also reviewed recordings of your work. His expression was unreadable. It appears I made an error in my assessment of you. You made many errors, Kalira said quietly. Surprise flickered in the Emperor's eyes. Indeed, which is why I'm making this communication personally. The Science Directorate's offer stands, but I'll add to it. Accept, and I'll personally reinstate your royal status. You'll receive chambers in the upper palace. Your achievements will be formally recognized. Your physical condition will be overlooked in light of your technical contributions. Overlooked, Kalira repeated hollowly. Yes, the Empire can be flexible when talent demands it. You sent me away, Kalira said, each word precise as a blade. You sent me to these humans as an insult. You wanted me to suffer, to fail, to disappear so completely that even my memory would become a joke. She stood, pulling Marcus up with her, and I almost did. I almost let myself disappear, Kalira, but then something happened you didn't expect. These primitives you hold in contempt, one of them saw me, really saw me, not my body, not my failures. He saw my mind, my heart, my worth. Her voice strengthened. And he loved me not despite what I am, but because of it. The Emperor's gaze shifted to Marcus, cold, judging. This human? This mechanic, Kalira confirmed, who has more honor in his smallest finger than you have in your entire empire. Vorak's expression hardened. You would choose this primitive existence over restoration, over recognition, over redemption? I would choose love over cruelty, community over empire, being wanted over being tolerated. Kalira's voice rang clear. You offer everything I thought I needed, but Marcus offered the one thing you never did. He offered me value without conditions. The Emperor was silent for a long moment. Then you are more foolish than I believed. Perhaps. Kalira's smile was sad. Or perhaps I'm the only one in our family who understands what actually matters. If you refuse, there will be no third chance. You will remain in exile. The Science Directorate will not extend this offer again. I understand. And when this human dies, Vorak continued, voice cruel now, as all humans do, their lives flickering past in mere decades, you will be alone again. You will have given up empire for a love that will end before you reach middle age. Kalira flinched. Draconians lived for centuries. Humans were lucky to see 80 years. It was a truth they hadn't discussed, but her voice didn't waver. Then I will have decades of being loved truly, which is more than you've experienced in 3 centuries of rule. The Emperor's face went blank. For a moment Marcus thought he might rage. Instead, Vorak nodded slowly. You are your mother's daughter. She too chose foolishly, and she too paid the price. My mother chose you, Kalira said, and you made her life miserable. So perhaps my foolishness is an improvement. Farewell, daughter. When you change your mind, the Empire may no longer be interested. I won't change my mind. We shall see. The transmission ended. Kalira collapsed into Marcus's arms, her entire body shaking, not with tears, but with relief, with terror, with the hugeness of what she'd done. I burned it, she whispered. I burned every bridge. There's no going back. Do you want to go back? No. She pulled away to look at him, golden eyes fierce. But he was right about one thing. You'll die, Marcus, decades before me. I'll watch you age, watch you fade. Hey, he cupped her face. We don't know what's going to happen. Medical technology advances. Maybe they'll figure out life extension. Or maybe we'll have 30 or 40 years of being stupidly happy together. And when I'm old and gray and you're still beautiful, you'll tell me about the time you chose a mediocre mechanic over an empire. You're not mediocre. I'm not an empire either. She laughed through tears. No, you're better. They stood there holding each other as Titan's distant sun cast long shadows. Outside, the colony continued its endless work of survival. But in that workshop, 2 people who should never have met, who should never have mattered to each other, had found something empires couldn't measure and protocols couldn't define. They'd found home. Epilogue. The Weight We Choose. 5 years passed. The changed storage room became a home filled with technical journals and music from 2 worlds. The workshop became legendary throughout the colony, the place where the human mechanic and the draconian princess performed miracles with scrap metal and impossible mathematics. New Cascade thrived. Other colonies requested Kalira's consultation. Offers came, better positions, more resources, recognition finally flowing like water. They refused them all. Marcus's hair began showing gray at the temples. Kalira looked exactly the same, would look the same for decades, for centuries. Sometimes late at night, he'd catch her watching him with something like grief in her golden eyes. But then morning would come. They'd share terrible coffee. She'd hum while reviewing diagrams. He'd make her laugh with ridiculous observations about quantum mechanics. And for another day, they'd choose each other over everything else. One evening, as methane rain fell in slow motion against their window, Kalira spoke quietly. Do you regret it? That I stayed? Marcus pulled her closer. Every single day. She tensed, and he felt her heartbeat quicken. I regret that you had to make that choice at all. He continued softly. That you had to choose between recognition and love, as if the universe couldn't give you both. I regret that you'll have to watch me age while you stay young. I regret that our time together is measured in decades instead of centuries. He tilted her chin up, meeting those golden eyes. But do I regret that you're here? That you chose this? That every morning I wake up next to the most brilliant person in 700 worlds who somehow decided a mediocre mechanic was worth more than an empire? He smiled. Not for a single second. You're not mediocre, she whispered, as she always did. And you're not a joke, he whispered back. You never were. She kissed him then, and in that kiss was everything they'd built. A home made not of walls, but of being seen, being valued. Being loved not despite who they were, but because of it. Outside, Saturn hung in Titan's sky like a jewel. The colony breathed recycled air. Air machines hummed. 30,000 people lived and laughed and never knew that their survival depended on a princess who'd been sent as an insult and a mechanic who'd seen past the joke to the miracle underneath. In the end, perhaps that was the real story. Not that she'd given up an empire for love, but that she'd found something empires could never offer. A place where she didn't have to be perfect or elegant or acceptable. A place where she could simply be herself, and maybe, just maybe, that was worth more than all 700 worlds combined. In a universe built on arrogance and looks, sometimes a single act of seeing someone truly is enough to shift the stars themselves, and sometimes the weight we choose to carry is lighter than the weight we're forced to bear.